Shalom. Call Allah Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai by Hashem Rakakodash. Double honesty, Apostle Nails, the Great Millstone. This video is going to be on famine could be closer than what we think. This article is from Bloomberg. It says, the title of it says, U.S. could be weeks from meat shortages with shutdowns spreading. It says, plant shutdowns are leaving the U.S. dangerously close to meat shortages as coronavirus outbreak spreads to suppliers across the nation and the Americas. Almost a third of U.S. pork capacity is down. The first big poultry plants closed on Friday, and experts are warning that domestic shortages are just weeks away. Brazil, the world's #1 shipper of chicken and beef, saw its first major closure with the halt of a poultry plant owned by JBS SA, the world's biggest meat company. Key operations are also down in Canada, the latest being a British Columbia poultry plant. While hundreds of plants in the Americas are still running, the staggering acceleration of supply disruptions is now raising questions over global shortfalls. Taken together, the U.S., Brazil, and Canada account for about 65% of the world meat trade. 65%. That's over half, man. So for them to shut them plants down, that will take a huge hit. It's absolutely unprecedented, said Brett Stewart, president of Denver-based consulting firm Global Agritrends. It's a lose-lose situation where we have producers at the risk of losing everything and consumers at the risk of paying higher prices. Right, hyperinflation will be coming. Restaurants in a week could be out of fresh ground beef. New U.S. shutdowns are hitting a dizzying rate, Smithfield Foods Incorporated, the world's #1 pork producer, said Friday. It was closing another operation, this one in Illinois. That news hit less than 1 hour after Hormel Foods Corporation said it was idling 2 of its Genio turkey plants in Minnesota. JB's said Sunday it will shutter a beef production facility in Wisconsin. Man, they shutting them down one by one right after another. The most recent news added to a flurry of other halts announced in the space of just a few weeks. During this pandemic, our entire industry is faced with an impossible choice: continue to operate to sustain our nation's food supply, or shutter in an attempt to entirely insulate our employees from risk, Smithfield said in a statement Friday. It's an awful choice. It's not one we wish on anyone, right? Like you said, it's a lose-lose situation. Either protect your employees and lose the food supply, or either keep the food supply and lose your employees. You're at the risk of people dying from the so-called virus. Prices are surging. U.S. wholesale beef touched a record in the week ended April 24th. The wholesale pork soared 29%, the biggest weekly gain since 2012. So we're going to quickly see those prices go up. Hyperinflation. Jersey Mike's Franchise Systems Incorporated, which has 1,750 stores across the U.S., is working with its ham supplier, Clemens Food Group, to ensure its supply of pork, something they sell quite a bit of in their sub sandwiches. We're backing it up already because of we feel the coming shortages. To be sure, some plants have restarted after testing workers and improving conditions, and most Brazilian facilities are still operating. Another point to consider, there haven't yet been big shutdowns in Europe. The European Union accounts for about a fifth of global meat exports. U.S. government data show. Still, executives from Tyson Foods Incorporated, JBS, and South Smithfield have all warned that consumers are likely to see impact at the grocery store. Right, once again, that hyperinflation, it is coming. It should be noted that the output from a plant where infection pops up doesn't pose health concerns because by all accounts COVID-19 isn't a foodborne illness. I'm gonna skip that. And these shutdowns are happening at a time when global meat supplies were already tight. China, the world's top hog producer, has been battling an outbreak of African swine fever, which destroyed millions of the country's pigs. Which we're not supposed to be eating that damn swine anyway. But that's just gonna lead to the other foods being shorted too. Because you got the agriculture, so your fruits and vegetables, they don't have enough workers to work them, so they've been having to destroy their crops. Then you got the meat shortages with people contracting COVID-19, so them shutting down them plants, man. We really gonna see this hyperinflation. Gonna see this price gouging. Plus, the virus is hitting production after some meat companies had already taken steps to slow outbreak because of the closure of restaurants around the world. Inventories can provide some cushion, though they may not last long. Total American meat supplies in cold storage facilities are equal to roughly 2 weeks of production, with most plants shut down lasting about 14 days for safety reasons. That further underscores the potential for deficit. Meanwhile, with slaughterhouses closing, farmers don't have a place to sell their animals. That's forcing some livestock producers to dispose of them. Man. Plants are also facing a labor crunch as employees fall ill. It's been reported that a large chicken processing company was forced to kill 2 million of its birds earlier this month because of worker shortages. That's the latest cruel blow to supply chains, with food being wasted in masses at the same time that grocery store shelves are running empty. The situation for U.S. farms is so severe that the Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service is setting up a center to help identify potential alternative markets and assist on depopulation and disposal methods. Let's see. It's hard to say exactly why the virus is spreading so fast among meat plant employees. Some analysts have cited the fact that these are usually low-paying jobs that are often filled by immigrants and migrants. That means workers that can live in cramped quarters with sometimes more than one family sharing the same dwelling, so if one person gets sick, disease can spread quickly. Employees are also in so close proximity on the job, with the work on some processing lines being distributed as elbow to elbow. Even if line speeds are slow, workers spread out, the shifts are staggered. There's still a chance of mingling in break rooms, hallways. These plants see thousands of people coming in and out every day. It's basically the opposite of social distancing. At the same time, U.S. federal employees responsible for inspecting meat plants are falling ill. More than 100 inspection service employees have tested positive for COVID-19. The government confirmed at least 2 deaths of inspectors have been reported. U.S. inspectors travel among facilities. That's adding to fears that shutdowns will keep occurring if a sick federal employee brings the infection to plants where there's not yet an outbreak. In Brazil, JBS's Paso Fundo poultry plant in Rio Grande do Sul state was ordered to close, according to Priscilla Schwartz, a labor prosecutor in the municipality. There have been about 48 cases among employees with 27 positive tests, and others confirmed through epidemiological, epidemiological criteria, according to the latest data from Paso Fundo and neighboring facilities. JBS said measures implemented at the plant are fully supported by reports. That's about it on this article here. But you see, they closing all these plants. Meat is taking a hit. Vegetables, fruits and vegetables are taking a hit. The agriculture, everything is taking a hit. So we're gonna see it in these upcoming times. We're gonna see it real bad, especially in these grocery stores. We're getting our foods. And I want to get a couple of scriptures to back that up. It's going to be Matthew chapter 24, starting at verse 7. It says, "For a nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places." Famines, diverse places all over the earth. Earthquakes, diverse places all over the earth every day, literally. And pestilences, diseases, literally this COVID-19 all over the earth. You know, Yahweh already spoke on that. So this shouldn't be no surprise, because like I said, Yahweh spoke on it. I want to get 2nd Ezra chapter 15. Here it is. 2nd Ezra chapter 15, starting at verse 5. "Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled." So, Lord is doing it. He's bringing all of this upon the earth. You know? He's literally doing all of this. So, all call on Yahweh for the work he's doing in the earth. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 49. "I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death." That don't sound like nothing good. All these things are the beginning of sorrows. You know, these things must happen in order for us to get the kingdom, in order for the end to come. I also want to get this is in 2nd Ezra chapter 16. Starting at verse 18. It says, "The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come?" That's another thing. Don't forget, we still got that war brewing in the Middle East. You know, World War III still has to take place. Shoot. Most High, he moving all these chess pieces all at the same time. You know, he's perfect. He's gonna checkmate. He's all right on out of there. "Behold, famine and plague." Famine, there it goes again. "And plague, tribulation, and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment." What's the word amendment mean? Change. You need to change. "But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And that's gas prices, they cheap right now. Food prices are cheap right now, and everybody think everything all good. Everybody can't wait to go back to normal. They don't realize, oh, it's gonna be a new normal. Ain't nothing gonna be the same. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. So the famine is something serious. It's a precursor to the kingdom, to World War III, all that good stuff. All these things must come to pass in order for the kingdom of heaven to come. So keep your head up, Jake. So I hope you were edified with that. Shalom.